If you're a registered dietitian who's doing shit that you resent, shit that drains you, or shit that looks good but does not make financial sense, then this episode is for you. For those of you guys who don't know me, I'm Amy Plano. I'm the reimbursement dietitian, and I help dietitians get credentialed, build the shit out of insurance, and make the money you deserve. And today, I wanted to talk about start the episode off actually with a little story. And so recently, Mark and I were on a 3-week vacation over Asia. And we were in Singapore, we were in Japan, we were in China, we were in Vietnam. So we were in a lot of really remote places, and on sometimes we were on a ship. And so the internet connection was not awesome, and it was extremely stressful as a business owner. And one of the things that Mark pointed out was one of the businesses that I run that makes the least amount of money out of all of my businesses. Mark made a really good point, and he said, you spend so much time on that particular side of your business, it brings you the most amount of stress. It takes the most amount of time and energy, yet it produces the least amount for you. And not only does it produce the least amount from a financial standpoint, it produces the least amount from a joy standpoint, meaning it's something that I'm doing right now that doesn't necessarily align with my core values. And so it makes it more challenging to do that because I don't love it. And so that gave me really good clarity about what I wanted to do this video on at the start of the new year, which is a lot of us set New Year's resolutions, which I love. I don't necessarily know if I love New Year's resolutions. I love goals. You guys know I'm a gal that loves goals, loves to smash the shit out of goals and make really big ones. With that being said, today I wanted to talk about a different angle. Okay. How about if as you go into 2026, you think about the shit that you're going to say no to? You think about the shit that drains you, the shit that you resent doing, which is like some of the things that I just told you about in the story, and the shit that might look good, but financially does not make sense, right? And I want to just be crystal clear. I am by no means perfect at saying no, but I make the decision of saying no sooner than I used to. I have this saying in my life, and I think it's really helpful. I think I got it from my husband. Sometimes you need to smash shit to smithereens before you move forward. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So it's really top of mind for me because in 2026, there's a lot of shit I am saying no to. And I encourage you at the end of this video to make a list of the shit you are saying no to. So the first thing I want to highlight is exposure opportunities. Okay. I looked at my calendar for last year and there was so much shit that I said yes to because in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, that's a really good exposure opportunity. It may have not paid awesome. It may have required a shit ton of travel or a shit ton of effort, but I did it anyway. Okay. And a lot of you guys may be faced with similar scenarios, whether it be in the community, whether it be in the business to business space, whether it be with other doctors where people want you to do shit, but they're not paying you enough for your time. And so one of the simple things I do is I know what my hourly time is worth, at this stage in my career, at this stage in my life. And so when I'm looking at opportunities, not only am I looking at the time that it takes me to execute the presentation, the webinar, the workshop, I'm looking at the amount of time that went into it to produce it, the amount of time it took to prepare for it, the amount of time it took me to execute it, right? It might be a 90-minute webinar. And then lastly, but most importantly, I look at the opportunities that I had to say no to in order to say yes to this opportunity. And so say somebody wants to pay you $300 for an hour-long presentation. That may seem super exciting, and $300 an hour is a lot of money, but if it took you 3 hours to put the presentation together, and then it took you an hour to deliver it, and you practice it for 2 to 3 hours, right? At this point, you're making under $30 an hour. The reason why that's an easy no is if you were in your insurance-based practice, there's a good chance you're making 120 per hour plus, where you're in the negative when you are in that other environment, right? So you always want to make sure with exposure opportunities that it is really worth your time. With that being said, I want to be super nuanced. I'm a huge fan of doing free shit in the community. I am a huge fan of doing free presentations when I know that the impact is there. I often would actually really prefer doing a free opportunity than a paid opportunity because sometimes I feel like the dollar amount that somebody might offer me, it's like I feel disrespected. So in 2026, I want you guys to think about the opportunities that you are presented with and whether or not it is the best use of your time, right? Could you be doing something else that brought you more joy, that lit you the fuck up, or made you more money, right? And the answer is generally probably yes. Okay. And that's, like I said, top of mind. I literally just got an email from somebody asking to speak at an event where there was going to be 2,000 people, 60% dietitians, and they asked me if I would speak for $300 an hour. Okay. Do the numbers, even on a basic registration, how much they are making and how much they're willing to pay me. That is kind of borderline insulting, right? And so, insulting or not, I have a choice. I have a boundary that I'm going to lay down. And that's what I want you guys to do with opportunities, right? Because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else, right? And so that's number one. Number two, even though I have not seen full-time patient loads since 2019, I certainly had my fair share of patients I did not enjoy. Okay. And when I say do not enjoy, I remember I had this woman like every 2 weeks, she'd show up like 20 minutes late for a 30-minute appointment. The other patient would be waiting, right? The patient right after her. She'd want to drink her drink, and then she needed to go to the bathroom during the session because she didn't want to weigh more what she was drinking in her giant fucking jug of shit, right? And it just irked me because if you know anything about me, I am so impeccable with time. I feel like when I am late, it is disrespectful to you, right? I'm like psychotic. My husband wants to fucking kill me, but I'm usually like 15 minutes early. So if you have patients like that, or you have patients that do not fill out paperwork, you have patients that are notoriously late, like this patient, or even worse, cancel last minute, right? This is the year of saying no. This is the year of putting policies and procedures right into your workflow that define how you work with patients, right? Or people that blow up your emails, or people that DM you and say, "Do you have a quick second?" No, Karen, I don't have a fucking quick second. Fuck the fuck off. Okay. So, it's important, especially with your patients, that we teach people how we want to be treated. And if we respond in a way that is consistent with not what lights us up, it's going to bring us down. So number two is saying no to clients that are not optimal in a nice way. Okay. I know in the beginning, the middle, the end, we look at patients as money, and it doesn't often really matter where they come from. But a patient that is, I don't know how to say it in a nice way, fucking annoying, is going to take so much of your bandwidth that they are stealing your joy and your expertise and your presence from your other patients, right? So in 2026, we're going to stop saying yes to optimal patients. In the third one, and then I have a bonus, which I think I'm going to share as my fourth one, is saying no to professionals in your life who do not align with your core values. That might be employees, that might be accountants, that might be attorneys, right? There are so many professionals that we can choose from in the space. And if they are not operating consistently with your core values, it's okay for you to say no and move on. Okay. We have done this several times with accountants, right? Either they were overcharging us, they were not responding to our questions within a reasonable time frame. They were sending us invoices that were unitemized. It was just becoming so frustrating that we were paying somebody so much money to do something that they were not doing the way that we wanted. And so rather than say yes, we said no. We closed down the relationship when we looked for somebody new. The same thing with your employees, right? If you have people working for you in any capacity, if you have to start making stupid rules for them, like embarrassed to say this, but like I had a dietitian that worked for me and like part of her to-do list as a registered dietitian with a fucking master's was she needed to go through a clipboard before she left the office and check off, yes, I turned off the lights. Yes, I locked the front door, right? This was shit I did when I worked at the vitamin shop when I was like 15 fucking years old, right? So when you have to start making stupid rules for people that work for you, or like you start to resent those people, or they just require so much effort and you're paying them money to do something they're not doing. In 2026, I want you to smash those people, right? They are not serving you. They are stealing your energy. They are stealing your joy, and it makes it really hard to do your job as the CEO of your business, right? So in 2026, things I want you to think about saying no to. I want you to think about saying no to opportunities that don't light you the fuck up or pay you a shit ton of money. Or, very importantly, promise in some sense that you may get a great return on your investment. So I just want to make sure that like you're running the numbers on the opportunities because I've done a lot of amazing free shit that I have no regrets about it. But these have been opportunities that I knew I would be in front of a shit ton of insurance-based people that all I needed to do was show up and demonstrate authority. So I want to be very clear when I say that, kind of assessing opportunities for ROI, because ROI could even be there in free shit. You just have to know the numbers, right? Before you say yes to something. Okay. And actually, I want to just kind of piggyback off of that. What I have found is really helpful is when I am participating in an opportunity, a workshop, a symposium, an event, as soon as I start to resent the person that asked me to do it, it means I did not charge enough. So, like if you're resenting your patients, right? You may not be getting paid enough in certain settings, or you're resenting the person who wants you to do shit. You're not getting paid enough because when you're getting paid your worth, you generally do not have resentment. So that's like my litmus test. Number two, say no to less than ideal patients who just like bring you the fuck down. Like get rid of them, right? It's okay for you to discharge your patients. It is not rude. A lot of times they're like mentally breaking you down, and that impacts the way you carry yourself and the way you do business. And then lastly, like employees, people that work for you, if they are not serving you at the level you want to be served, smash the shit out of them. There are so many professionals out there who over deliver. And so if there are like non-negotiables, like a big one for me is communication, right? Especially accountants, attorneys, people that are managing my money, right? Like I have an expectation of how somebody is going to respond and communicate with me. And if they do not follow through with that, then I'm all set because most of these people I'm paying hundreds of dollars per hour, and so are you. So you guys deserve to get whatever you want out of the people that are working for you, the employees. And when you start making stupid rules, it means we have stupid people working for us. And we're not going to do that shit. So, I want you to build for 2026. I want you to do this right now. When you X out of this video, okay, this is the simple exercise I want you to do. Ask yourself these three simple questions. What am I doing currently that I resent? Okay, make a big fucking list because I'm sure there's a lot of shit. What do I do that consistently that drains the fuck out of me? That's also probably a pretty big list for me. And then what looks good but does not make financial sense. Okay. Then you're going to turn those no's into intention. Okay. I do not speak for less than X. I do not take clients who do not complete their paperwork. I do not, make meal plans below X dollars. I do not answer non-urgent messages outside of, my normal operating office hours, right? Because boundaries are a business strategy. They are not a personal failing, right? So it's really, really important that if you want to scale your business, if you want to have a sustainable business, if you want to have a successful business, knowing what to say no to is going to be more important than what you say yes to, right? Because a lot of times the shit in our practices that we are optimizing for is shit that not should not be there in the first place. We have to raise the floor. We have to raise the standards for what we are willing to tolerate, willing to accept. Because if we continue doing it, we are saying yes to shit that we do not want to do. Okay. So rather than in 2026 making a list of all of the shit you're going to do, I want you to sit down right now and make a giant fucking list of all the stuff you are not going to do in 2026. And I can almost guarantee that list is going to serve you more than anything additive. Because if you are anything like me, I know you do not need more shit on your to-do list. Where's my to-do list? This is my motherfucking to-do list for today and tomorrow. You guys know the list is fucking endless. So let's not add shit to it. Let's decrease. Let's remove the stuff that no longer serves us in 2026. And if you need help scaling your business, we're going to put the link below. We now have a tiered system for registered dietitians looking to work with me because we want to be able to meet you where you are. Okay. So if you're somebody who's looking to scale, we have a special tier for you. If you're a dietitian who's listening to this and just looking for support with credentialing, we also have a special tier for you, right? So I leave you with this. Go make your list, check it twice. Anything you resent, anything that drains you, and anything that financially does not make sense on paper, right? Those are the things I need you to do. I know I was screaming most of this video, but I am so passionate about this topic because it is something that impacts me at my core. And I think it's probably something that impacts you as well because we have a hard time saying no. We're people pleasers and we always want to do the right thing, even if it's not right for us. And 2026 is going to be the year of fucking success, smashing our goals, and building our motherfucking empire. That's it. Peace.